David, thanks for joining us. Obviously a disappointing result at Arsenal in the Youth Cup. What are your reflections on it?
A little bit mixed, like I say, disappointing to end up losing the game 7-1. It was a true game of two halves. The first half, I thought we were really good, both in and out of possession. Lads were disciplined with their shape and handled the ball well under pressure to create a few chances. And then the second half, it was we had a poor start, conceding two goals early, which created a bit of momentum for Arsenal, and then we just couldn't handle their physicality in there. Obviously, they've got some really good players, and we struggled to cope in that second period.
How do you digest it? Because obviously you have to take into account it's Arsenal away. I mean, it couldn't really get much more challenging than that. But at the same time, you've got your own standards, and it sounded like there were positives to take from it.
Yeah, definitely. First half, I thought was really good. They executed the game plan, and like I said, they were good in possession. The second half, we just couldn't match that. I thought we looked a little bit leggy in the second period, trying to compete with their physicality, and then we just didn't look after the ball well enough. So it was a learning curve for us all. The players, were disappointed at the end, and we had some strong words at times. But it was like I said, it's a learning curve for us all.
How do you approach a game like that in the first place? You've had different challenges on this on the journey, haven't you? But how much time do you look into playing against them and countering what they can do, as opposed to working on what you can produce in the 90 minutes?
Yeah, we had quite a bit of time to prepare. The game against Baldermere was played fairly early, so we had a bit, like I say, a couple of weeks with a couple of games being called off as well. So we got quite a lot of analysis work done with them, and highlighting their strengths and their weaknesses. And like I say, first half we executed it well. We just couldn't quite maintain them energy levels in the second half. And once we went a couple of goals down, a few of the heads dropped, which is an important thing for them to develop and learn from. Which it's never nice to get beat 7-1, but I think in the long run it'll do some good for some of the players.
And obviously a long journey at home after a result like that. I mean, what did you talk to the players about it, and how do you want them to reflect and recover from it?
Yeah, it was just more of a mentality thing really in the second period. I think one or two of them, like I say, their heads dropped and lost a bit of belief, which is something that they can't do. And hopefully they've learnt from that, and just try and build that character to continue to get on the ball, continue to try and do what we're asking them to do, both in and out of possession, and try and create some leadership out there as well. When you're under a bit of pressure, that togetherness is key, which hopefully they can develop over the next few months and help them in their careers over the long term.
Looking back at the Youth Cup as a whole this season, obviously had a real dramatic first game, with a red card, extra time, penalties. They showed good character to come through that. Then they were big favourites for the second game and had to deal with the expectations, and obviously a huge challenge in the third game. You talk about the FA Youth Cup as a learning curve. It had a bit of everything for you, hasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Had all the experiences. Obviously the pressure to beat Baldermere, all the expectation was on us. The Peterborough game was a bit 50-50, but then once they went down to 10 men, again that pressure to win the game, which we don't often get with the under-18s. It's a lot about their development, but the Youth Cup games are key, more like first team games and results driven. So it's a good experience for them. And like you say, going away to Arsenal where you're underdogs, and can you handle the pressure of playing against one of the best teams in the country, and some of the best players, which we found out on the night. But I felt for the Arsenal game, for 40-50 minutes we coped fairly well. It's just again that learning from the bits that we didn't do so well.
And so what you're looking at now, you're obviously back to the routine of the league games that you play, and obviously training. And of course it won't be long before the second year scholars that you're in charge of are trying to win a professional contract, so that'll be a focus as well.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of pressure on the second years to now step up and try and earn that contract, which they have been doing this season really, but it's going to be more in focus, and again try and emulate the Youth Cup games, try and get as many wins as we can, although it's not all about winning. But I think it's key for them at their stage in their careers if they're looking to get into the first team and go beyond.